What's going on, Cindy? Thank you so much for checking out this video. We know your time is valuable, so we're going to jump straight into the top 3 things that we use for our clients in our own agency every single day to get more calls and more customers, more prospective customers, and opportunities to pitch and close deals coming through the door, coming through the phone, all from being at the top of the map listing here and here. Now, we are agencies, we're a business just like you. So we also get those cold calls of people saying, hey, we can get you ranked at the top of Google, pay us whatever amount per month. And the truth is, the reason they don't deliver is because they're focused on rankings, which is being at the top of Google, right? But there are strategic places you have to be found online in order to get that call volume coming in. So being at the top doesn't always translate into that. However, we need to make sure that you're in a population that's sizable enough to get some call volume. So with this industry, you want to make sure that you have a higher population that you're targeting. So you may want to start targeting surrounding cities, not just Augusta. But if you do this right, then the next step is to be found for relevant search phrases in terms of services that you offer and provide. Not just the word storage, though. How about moving supplies? Storage units, self-storage. Okay, there's a whole variety of this. And then you can take it a step further and actually switch out these phrases. So you have Augusta, Kansas, self-storage. Okay, so you just take this and you swap it with this side over here. So you'll just start with the city and then the phrase. Now, there's a variety of things that you can do with this, but the key is to be at the top here, especially the map listing where over 70% of your target marketplace is coming to find a service provider just like yours. So map listings is paramount here, and then the search volume starts to drop as you go down this organic listing here. It's not always profitable to do an ad up here where you're paying per click, especially in some industries. They can get upwards of $60, $100 a click. I'm not saying for your industry specifically, but just in general. You want to make sure that you're doing the best bang for your buck, and right now, organic is where it's at. So we're going to kick this off with Google's own words as steps to a Google-friendly site. What they look for to award you the most relevant topic and result in search for local spaces like this, especially in the map listing and here. And Google says, this is going to kick off the top 3 things that we're going to give you. You want to give visitors the information they're looking for, and this is what Google's evaluating you on with your online presence. So tip number 1 is to provide high quality content on your pages, especially your homepage. Google takes the time out of their day when they were writing this to take this a step further and says, this is the single most important thing to do. So if you were to do a search for just about anything on the World Wide Web, it could be elephants, a flu vaccine. In this case, we're looking up a boxer, Mike Tyson. What's the one thing that usually always comes up? It's Wikipedia. Why? Well, let's scroll back down, and we're not even halfway down the page. Look at this. And there are tons, I mean tons, of topically relevant sentences and information talking about this boxer. So a lot of business owners, we look at their websites and it's really light on content. However, Google has taken the time to say, remember, this is the single most important thing to do. So there could be some industries like roofing or tree service, some of the more competitive ones. And one of the reasons that they're at the top is because of all the content they have on their homepage and many other pages on their website. So more content means you're being seen as more of the authority. So yeah, you're a little bit on content here, and I'd highly recommend changing it out because you're sitting at 338 words. Some of your competitors aren't doing much better, okay? This company's sitting at 238 words. But you want to beat out your competition by a landslide. We're talking a bare minimum of 1,000 words just on your homepage alone. And then all the internal services pages and other things we're talking about, you want to make sure that those are built up as well. So tip number 1 is going to be to put more words on your homepage. And tip number 2 is going to be talking about something called a local business citation. What is this? Well, for any local business, it's any online mention of your business's name, address, and phone number. Now, these can occur on local business directories. They can be found on websites and applications, both desktop and mobile, as well as on social media platforms. Now, if you do this right and you have the best bang for your buck locations, it's still not going to do much unless you actually have your Google map listing claimed and verified. So when you go to your map listing, you can see this word that says own this business. You can click on it and see if it's been claimed with something that you own. Once you control it, then you can go back to this and start putting additional photos on here, maybe a Google 360, and let's see. So you do have the hours of operation on there. That's good. You're sitting at 8 reviews. We have opportunities to help you increase that because reviews are actually now becoming and they're growing as a ranking factor to get you to the top of search results, which no business owner cares where they're ranked in Google, but they want the result that comes from being at the top of Google, which everybody and their grandmother is talking about, which is a ringing phone. So if we can get that happening by being at the top of the marketplace, first off, we need to make sure that you're actually in here. So you're sitting here. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're about the 6th position. And in order to get it to the top, you need more content, which was tip number 1. And tip number 2 is talking about citations. Now, if you don't want to do this with us, you can go to a third party like this and get this whole listing here. But you would have to go one by one by one by one. And if you wanted to do 5 in a day, you got to find time to do this. Are you going to do this before work, during working hours, or after working hours? Maybe you have kids you need to put to bed and you're probably burning the midnight oil. So you would have to go into these one by one. So let's take Bing for an example. It's a search engine. So you'd have to create an email that they will accept and allow you to log in with. It could be MSN, Outlook, a Hotmail email account. But you would have to log in, and then you would have to, if you haven't created one of these before, you'd have to create one and wait for that to be verified. Now, it doesn't take that long to do. I mean, a lot of these processes have become automated and they're instant. But the next step is going to take more time because you'd have to go in and claim this business listing. You'd have to build it out just like you did with this Google Map listing over here. So I'm talking photos, logos, pictures of teams, hours of operation, a short description, a long description. Some of these places actually have opportunities to put both. And you want to fill these up, dial these in, and make these as spick and span, polished as can be so you get the best bang for your buck. But once you submit it, you have to submit it for verification. And some of these companies have to verify. Good example is Yelp. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about another company, but one of the ploys that they have is they have a way to upsell you, to charge you and lock you into a long-term contract. How do I know? Because a lot of business owners I've talked to in the local space, they have gotten into one of these long-term contracts, they're displeased, they're not getting leads, and they don't have a way to get out. We don't want your money if we're not bringing you business. So you can start with us, but if down the road we're not bringing you business or you're not happy with it, let's part ways. I'm happy to go make someone else rich instead of you, but we want to make sure that we're delivering so that if we're paying you, if we're charging you, we want to deliver something that's a good 3-fold, 4-fold, even 5-fold. Kind of delivery return on investment. But keep in mind that a lot of these could trigger some marketing calls, and that's just a necessary evil of the trade. It's what it's going to take to get to the top of this map listing here so that you can get the majority of the calls from the marketplace. So again, you can do this yourself. There's about 100 listings here, or you can come to us where we do the best bang for your buck 300 locations because we're professionals and we've evaluated these. Whatever you want to do is fine with us, but let us know. And then tip number 3, after the content and citations, is going to be talking about something called a backlink. And what is that? Well, if you were to click on something like this, and this item right here reveals a web address down in this lower left. So when I hover over this clickable text, it takes me to, if you see in the lower left of this window here, support.google.com. So this is a backlink. It's page A taking you over to page B. Google interprets this whole situation as a vote. So if you do this naturally and well, Google's not going to interpret it as something spammy, but this is a very dangerous thing that you need to know how to do well. And the rabbit hole gets deeper. We're talking do follow, no follow backlinks. We're talking topical relevancy versus diversity, anchor text. I mean, the list goes on. But at the end of the day, you want to do this to where it looks natural and all of these act as a vote. Back in 2013, while we're getting this little tool here called SEO Quake to load, it's going to give us some information about your online presence. Back in 2013, Google came up with a patent that allows them to evaluate all your backlinks from other websites that act as a vote to help you climb the map listings and the organic listings. Now, you have to be topically relevant with all of your stuff. And if you're not, that is a problem. But you also have to have diversity. So it can't look perfect. It can't look like you're gaming the system. So you have to play this in a very, very smart way. And this little tool here gives us an idea of what you have. It's called SEO Quake. It's a Google Chrome extension. You can get it in your own time. It's free. And it shows us that you have 3 backlinks here, whereas your competition has 2. But it looks like they have more pages on their page on their website instead of you. And they also have let's see, 2018 to 2010. So you're actually older than them, but it's clear that they're focusing on something else. However, they're being found for some of your relevant search terms. I pulled this off one of those map listings from one of these search phrases over here. So if a company who's not in your neck of the woods is outperforming you, then that's a red sign or a red flag that we need to dial in your online presence so you can get to this coveted map listing, get over 70% of the marketplace coming to call you first if you're at the top here. So if you think we have a few tricks up our sleeve and you want some help getting more calls and more opportunities to pitch and close some business, we just invite you to go back to your email, hit reply, let us know you'd like to schedule a quick 18-minute conversation. We're not a hard-pressed sales company. We just want to see if it's a fit. We won't know if it is unless we have that conversation. And if not, fine. We're sorry for wasting your time. We'll go make someone else rich. But if you want these calls coming in, connect with us. Let's explore a possibility of getting you to the top of the marketplace, and we will talk to you soon.